Right now, the attorney for a Douglas County judge charged with the felony says that Atlanta police keeps changing its story. This comes after the department released body cam video of Judge Christina Peterson's arrest outside of a Buckhead club Thursday morning. 11 Alive's Teresa Bowles watched this more than 2 hours of body cam footage, and she has the latest.
The cover-up is always worse than the initial mistake.
A tale of two different stories. The Atlanta Police Department versus Douglas County probate judge Christina Peterson. Peterson's attorney, Marvin Arrington, says he's still sifting through the 2-hour body camera footage of her arrest less than 2 days after it happened. He says something isn't adding up.
We already see inconsistencies. We know that the information that was provided to the judge is now being changed or updated.
Here's how a spokesperson for the Atlanta Police Department tells it. Thursday, around 3 in the morning, Officer Keith Wadsworth responds to a commotion outside of the Red Martini Lounge in Buckhead. There was some sort of dispute with the woman, seen here. Then Peterson allegedly screamed, interrupted the officer, and, quote, forcibly pushed the officer in the chest and kept swiping his hands away as he attempted to assist the female being escorted out. Peterson is then accused of pushing the officer again, and that's what led to her arrest. However, in the warrant, Wadsworth said under oath that he was struck, quote, with a closed fist. Plus, in the footage, you hear Wadsworth say several times,
You just punched the cop.
No, I did not!
I walked over there to separate it, and I got punched. Came over, punched.
That he's been punched.
And there is no punching or hitting of any officers.
You can see an arm here, but it's difficult to tell during the scuffle. Arrington says his client is a good Samaritan who was simply trying to break up the dispute where a man attacked a woman. He has reason to believe the commotion happened while the crowd was waiting in line by a food truck, not inside the lounge. But the story doesn't stop there. Next, Peterson spends more than an hour in a police unit, sometimes hurling profanity at Wadsworth. And refusing to identify herself.
I need your name and your date birth.
You should have known that. Plus, nothing came up with the finger scan. Several officers appear to try to reason with Peterson, but that's why there's an issue while processing her. Eventually, she's driven and booked into the Fulton County Jail and now faces battery against a police officer and felony obstruction of law enforcement charges. Though the body camera shows Officer Wadsworth telling Peterson she was arrested for
Disorderly conduct. Disorderly conduct.
Arrington says the video and contradictions left him wanting more, and he believes it will all make sense in the end in court.
We look forward to the day of these charges being dropped.
Our thanks to Teresa Bowles for that report. Arrington says that he wrote a letter to the Red Martini to preserve all evidence, as he believes other footage will help in Peterson's case. Peterson is now released on a $5,000 bond. The judge ordered her to not contact law enforcement and to stay away from that lounge. You can catch up on this developing story as we learn more on 11alive.com.
All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rachaha, Kodash. Double honors to the head apostle, now it's a great millstone who will well teach well. Peace and blessings, you should say, I can that pushing this truth. I load the 4 points of week in and week out, not truth and sincerity. I wanted to touch on this video that came to my news feed concerning this Douglas County judge that you see on the screen, Christina Peterson, and that is her mugshot, which was arrested by police on charges of an offense on an officer. She so-called allegedly pushed and struck an officer that was coming to the scene of a scuffle or an argument outside a lounge area, bar, club, etc. It says body cam video released after Douglas County judge arrested by police, and I'll leave the link in the description box as well. And the first scripture that came to my mind was Proverbs 7 and 11, and it reads, it says, she is loud and stumpered, her feet abide not in her house. And this pertains, to all you so-called Negro, Latino, or Native American women, but primarily this pertains to you so-called Negro women, all right, you Judite women, all right, this fits you at a majority standpoint perfectly. This is why Esau gives you these various positions in society, being a judge, being in authoritative positions, okay? Because they know you have a boldness to you, man, all right, which is nothing to be proud of. And you got our women proud to be bold, proud to be outspoken, proud to be loud, proud to be independent, etc. But that's nothing to be proud about. Like the scripture says, she that is bold dishonoreth her husband and her father. It says she is loud and stubborn. Her feet abide not in her house. All right, yeah, they're out at the club, they're at the bar scene, they're out somewhere shaking their ass, out somewhere, in the streets, man, acting a goddamn fool, and this type of activity is all too common amongst the so-called Negro woman. She has that type of pridefulness about her. And even when the police get called and the police come on the scene, she's violent and angry towards them. And the police, handle these women a lot different than I should say this, the police handle the so-called Negro woman a lot different than the so-called Negro man, all right, to a certain standpoint. There's a sense of leniency towards these women, all right, because when you so-called Negro men, get involved in similar situations, there's very different measures taken, okay? It says she is loud and stubborn, her feet abide not in her house. Now is she without, now in the streets. That's where the majority of the so-called Negro women are and wish to be, or in the streets, man. In the nightlife scene, at the clubs, at the bars, at the lounges. They seek attention on a very, very high level, and not just the so-called Negro women, all these women, man, they really are just, seeking high level of attention from men, but also not from men, from women as well. It says, now is she without, now in the streets, and lieth in wait at every corner. Okay, now let's go over to Job chapter 39. You see what's on the floor, and amongst this scuffle, somebody's hat fell off. Okay, because that is the so-called Negro's woman's hat. These women sport themselves and take pride in putting these weaves and tracks and fake hair on their head. Okay. Let's go to Job chapter 39 and then start in verse 17. It says, because Yahweh hath deprived her of wisdom. And this is what you see. You would think her being a judge, her knowing the laws, knowing what happens when you strike an officer or put your hands on an officer, the ramifications of that, okay? But she did it anyway. The very people that come to her before these different court proceedings involved in similar situations that she gives judgments on, here it is, she's involved in the very same situation. It says, because Yahweh hath deprived her of wisdom, neither hath he imparted to her understanding. All right. So these women have been deprived of wisdom and have been deprived of understanding. Yet Esau will still put you in these high-level positions of authority in society. Being judges, being managers, and CEOs. Governors. Positions in the government and even in the military. Okay, which is completely off, like the scripture says. Everything is out of order. Everything has been turned upside down under the inhabitants thereof, under the rulership of these Edomites, man. Everything is out of order, okay? The whole earth is out of course. let's go over to 1 Timothy chapter 2, verse 11. And it reads, it says, let the woman learn in silence with all subjection. Okay, when you go into that word subjection, it goes into being submissive. And our woman look at being in subjection under a man and being submissive, okay, as a thing that is, detestable. All right, they rather be single. They rather be in certain situations and even in poverty than to be under subjection and be submissive to a man. All right, and this is all part of the agenda of these wicked elites, man. You know, they have set certain vibrations out in this world, mainly focusing on you women to emasculate you women. You know, to give you a sense of pride and a sense of mentality that you don't need a man, and ultimately that you're better than a man. Esau has given you a platform and putting you up on the pedestal, and you women have climbed, or Esau has lifted you up to that high plateau, but you've reached your height. Now you women are on the decline. Okay, you know, once you get to that top of that mountain, guess what? Now you got to come down. And we are witnessing that, all right? It says, let the woman learn in silence with all subjection, but I suffer not a woman to teach, nor to usurp authority over the man. And this is what you see right here. This woman right here is, a judge. So she has authority over men, all right? Just read in the scripture how the Most High deprived our woman of wisdom. Okay, it says, but I suffer not a woman to teach nor to usurp authority over the man, but to be in silence. And these women want to operate the complete opposite. Like we read in Proverbs, the 7th chapter. She's loud and stubborn. She doesn't want to be silent. She wants to have a voice. She wants to have an opinion. She wants to be heard. She wants to be seen. Okay? She wants to be in the club. She wants to be at the bars. She wants to sleep with multiple women, multiple men. You could say women as well nowadays. She doesn't want to be in the house. She doesn't want to be obeying her man. Okay? She wants to do the complete opposite. It says, for Adam was first formed in Eve, and Adam was not deceived, but the woman being deceived was in the transgression. All right, now I want to jump over to Isaiah, the 3rd chapter. And let's go down to the 16th verse. It says, moreover, the Lord saith, because the daughters of Zion are haughty, and walk with stretched forth necks, and wanton eyes, and walking and mincing as they go, and making a tinkling with their feet. And that's how, the Israelite woman, especially the so-called black woman, are today, man. They have their heads in the clouds. They think their shit don't stink. Okay, even these women, especially the so-called black woman, being completely out of shape, morbidly obese, she still thinks that she is the prize. She still thinks that you're supposed to be choosing her. All right, she still thinks that you're supposed to get down on one knee and put a ring on it. Right? It says, verse 17, it says, therefore the Lord will smite with a scab the crown of the head of the daughters of Zion, and the Lord will discover thy secret parts. Like you saw on the ground, I don't believe this is hers, because it looked like she got some type of hair, but somebody's weave fell off, somebody's wig fell off in the midst of that scuffle, and the Most High Yahweh has put a curse on our women, but mainly, the Judite woman, speaking about that scab of the head, the Israelite man, the Judite man can grow his hair longer than the Judite woman on a majority standpoint, man. and that's why these women resort to, trying to look like the other nations with these weaves and these wigs. And the most popular and prominent wig or weave that the so-called black women resorts to is the blonde weave and wig to try to resemble the so-called white woman. All right, the majority of our of the Judite women really, they really hate themselves, man. Okay, they have self-esteem issues. It says, therefore the Lord will smite with a scab the crown of the head of the daughters of Zion, and the Lord will discover their secret parts. In that day the Lord will take away their bravery of their tinkling ornaments, and about their feet, and their calls, and their round tires like the moon. Yahweh Bashim Yahushua is taking the comfort away from you women. You rode the ride, you rode the roller coaster. Well, guess what? It's coming to an end. It says, verse 19, the chains and the bracelets and the mufflers, the bonnets and the ornaments of the legs and the headbands and the tablets and the earrings, the rings and the nose jewels, the changeable suits of apparel and the mantles and the wimples and the crisping pins. All the ornaments and attachments that these women wear that, that they think makes them look better or is more attractive. Okay, it says the changeable suits of apparel and the mantles and the wimples and the crisping pins, the glasses and the fine linen and the hoods and the veils. All right, it says verse 24, it shall come to pass that instead of a sweet smell there shall be a stink, and instead of a girdle a rent, and instead of a well set hair baldness, and instead of a stomacher girding of sackcloth and burning instead of beauty. The majority of the so-called black women do not take care of themselves. They don't bathe correctly. They don't have proper hygiene. They're on top of being angry and mad and bold and loud, and disorderly. Okay. This judge, which she proclaimed to be breaking up a fight between a man or a woman, and that just shows that she's a masculine, bold woman for you to even trying to intervene between a man in an altercation, man. Okay. These women actually think that they're on the same level as you men. They think that they can ultimately have the same strength as you, that they can, that they're smart as you, that they can beat you in sports, etc. Well, you women are going to be, you women are going to come to the realization, the reality that you're not stronger nor better than a man. Okay, because in these times that we're coming in, when all hell breaks loose, there ain't no more 911, there ain't no more police task force, when there ain't no more crying for help, you're going to understand that you're going to need a man for protection. All right. It says, thy men shall fall by the sword, and thy mighty in the war, and her gates shall lament and mourn. These women are going to be in mourning. You've reached that plateau, and you're going to be, and now you're about to be brought down to the ground. Okay, and Yahweh Bashim Yahushua is about to strip all these things that have been given to you, your comfort, all right, your pedestal, and everything else that has been given to you and set upon you by the powers that be. All right, it says, thy men shall fall by the sword, and thy mighty in the war, and her gates shall lament and mourn, and she being desolate shall sit upon the ground. Okay, so there you have it. Like I said, I'll leave the link in the description box as well. I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Shai Bahasham, Rachaha Kodash. I want to give double honor to the head apostle, that is a great millstone, who will well and teach well. Peace and blessings to you, sincere Akim. Let him pushing this truth all over the four corners of the earth, weakening Miguel on truth and sincerity. The next time, shalom.